guys? Thanks so much for clicking on my channel. We're all smiles over here. I am Will Sanja, like asking a question. Will Sanja help me keep a smile for today? And hopefully the answer is yes, you guys. I'm trying not to keep it long, but y'all already know. If it gets good, I'm gonna keep on talking. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And go to negative today is the American dream. Hey, listen, before I get started though, I want y'all to do something for me. Go ahead and say hello to the bump almost between my eyeballs, okay? Go and say hey, because it's making a debut today. Yes, normally I have a little bump here and bump there, whatnot. But this one just said I want to be the center of attention. So I don't want y'all to get distracted while I'm talking about the American dream. So go and see it, say hey, okay? Did you hear them bump? Did you hear them say hello? Okay, now we can get started. So now y'all won't be distracted because my bump will be going, hey, how y'all doing? Y'all see me? Y'all see me? Okay, now let's get started. Oh, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like the channel or whatnot. But listen, the American dream. Have you guys ever wondered, I'm talking to those of you who were born and raised in America. Have you ever wondered why is it that people from other countries will come over to America or America, okay, and they get their life. They live their life. They have stores and shops and houses and land and fancy cars and got the moolah, the corn and whatnot. And you over there sitting around going, man, what's going on? What's going on? Why they come over here and then and get all this? And I've been living here my whole life. And I'm still living this way. And I'm still working for somebody else. I still haven't started my business. I still don't have the American dream. Americans who have yet to experience the American dream. I'll tell you why this is. It ain't got nothing to do. Listen, don't get upset with me. I'm gonna tell you the truth. It has nothing to do with racism. It doesn't. It has nothing to do with whether or not if you're a female. No. It has nothing to do about what you call yourself and what you think you are. It has nothing to do with that. This is what's going on. People from other countries, they don't have something that Americans have. When they come over here, they don't have that mentality of what? Racism. They don't. So when they come over here, they're not looking at the issues that's going on in America. They don't. Why? Because they see America for its purity, and that's the dream. They just see the dream. They don't see the racism. They don't see the sexism. They don't see none of this negative stuff that's going on. They don't see any of that. They just see, if I could just get to America, get to America, then I can have the dream. Why? They're focused on the dream. They're focused on the promise, in other words, of God, in other words, that they can have and be and do what? The best. But what happens to the ones who are born and raised in America, right? What happens? You get caught up in the situations of negativity in the land, okay? You get caught up in the racism. You get caught up in the sexism. You get caught up in all this other crazy stuff to where you forget about what's actually here. And that's the dream. Which means what? You caught up in your mind on the wrong situation. You got to be clear up here in your mentality, in your heart, at core. God has designed you to live the best. And it's not so much that America, that's what a dream is. The dream starts within you. That's the American dream. The American dream is in you. You do know that, right? But if within you isn't a dream, which is filled with negativity or what you're seeing on the outskirts, then you will never, as an American, experience the American dream. You'll always pull in and dish out the issues of life, dealing flesh-wise on the outer skirts, instead of spewing out the positivity of God at core, on what He said you can be, do, and have. When you hone in on that, then it doesn't matter what issues are going on in America. You will be an American, being in America, living the American dream. And that's what the people on the outskirts in different countries, that's why they come over here and live their best life. And they've been here a short period of time. They come over here, we complain that the education system in America is bad, ooh, the American system of education is bad. But guess what? People in the other countries, they come right over here, get their high school degree, go to college, become a doctor or become a lawyer, get their degree and start working that thing. But we're complaining, Americans, saying the American system of education is bad. True be it all that it does have some problems with it, but you got to work with what you have. You got to say, God, now you know what? I know the systems here in America dealing with education ain't all that in a bag of chips the way it's supposed to. Now, I'm not saying it's not all the way bad. I'm just saying it could be better. So God, what I do have to work with, multiply this education. Whatever I'm not getting in the educational field here in America, give me the knowledge, the wisdom of what I'm supposed to have to push and thrust me forward. Because God said what in his word? He said what? He that lacks wisdom, let him ask of me, and he will give it to him liberally. See, there's no excuse. God has set it up. You know I'm going to bring God in this. You know I am. How else are we breathing? God has made it so there is no excuse for us. He has set us up to win. But if you get caught in this physical world of physical issues and you forget about the dream at core that God has placed within you, then you'll never live the American dream or live the dream or wherever country you are. You won't. Because like I told you before, the dream starts within you. Did you hear me? It starts within you. My husband and I, we were talking about it. We met up with our family members this weekend, right? And that's why on yesterday, I gave you guys just a saying, letting you know that God is going to bring restoration to your household, right? To you, period. And we were so tired and whatnot. I say, if I get on her, they're going to say, who is that? That is not Wasandra, because she don't look like Wasandra. Why? Because I had so much fun with my family. We played cards, spades, Uno, and just went out to eat and just went to the mall and just had a field day, right? And so I gave y'all that. But on the way coming back home today, we were talking about how most people don't understand that it starts within first. Like say, for instance, if you're saying, you know what, once I get $1 billion, then it's gonna be all right. Once I get in my mansion of a home, or once I get my Lamborghini, or once I get this and that and the other, once I get this degree, and once I get that degree, then I'm gonna live my life. Then I'm gonna be happy. Then I'm gonna be satisfied. But you know that's not true. Because God's word says what? A man's belly shall be satisfied by the fruit of his mouth. He didn't say that a man's belly will be satisfied by the amount of money, or by the bigger house, or by that car, or by that husband, or by that wife, or by having children. No, God says by the fruit of your mouth, which means what? Whatever you're speaking, whatever is coming out of you, it will manifest, and that will have you satisfied. And what did God says? He says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will speak. And God says what? There's power in the tongue, power of life and death in your tongue. So whatever you're speaking, which means you got to be thinking it, it's going to manifest, and you're going to be satisfied with it. Which means what? It's going to be so much to where it'll be overwhelming, to where you're not going to hunger, whether that's you thinking negative. You're going to be full with negativity in your life. If your mouth is speaking negativity, if it's speaking the negative issues that are around you, you got to speak God's word of what he sees in you. Remember I did that golden nugget that God sees so much more? He sees so much more about your life, about my life, about my country, about your country, about your city, about my city, about your town, about my town. He sees so much more. So if we get to the place where we're allowing God to be at the forefront of our life, moving in and through us, this way we receive within our journey some clarity, which means what? We're all the way aligned and connected. Then guess what? We're going to start speaking things of what God sees about us. Even though you ain't got about $50 in your account, you're saying, God, I thank you so much that you said that in the household, in the houses of the righteous, those who are walking upright, striving to walk upright, is much riches. Many riches. Yes. So you're not looking at what your physical eyes are seeing. You're speaking those things of what God has said it is. But you don't see it. That's faith, which means what? You're using God's word. And the more you speak that, I am healthy. I am wealthy. I'm da, da. You're not speaking of they call those affirmations. You ain't got to call it affirmations no more. That's God's word. That's what God said about you. You got to know God's word and apply it to your life if you want to have the American dream. If you're an American and if you're not experiencing the American dream right now, you got to do what? Notice the dream within. Not the dream without. Dream within. God says you have to see the vision. The vision have to come from within first. It has to. It has to. I'm giving you some good knowledge. Because if you don't have this knowledge, God says, what about knowledge? He said that his people perish because of the lack of knowledge, and they are in captivity because they have no knowledge. A lot of people are out trying to grasp things to make them happy, to live the American dream or whatever dream of country you're in right now. They're grasping on the outside. If I do this or do that. And no matter how much they grasp at it, it's like you're grabbing for a leaf in the water. The more you grab at it, the further and further and further away it leaves. It goes away from you, so you can't get it. But if you settle yourself, which means what? You settle yourself within, with God, then you'll begin to see what God has for you and know that truth. And no one can take that from you. Then what? The dream will begin to resonate, and begin to be like a fire within you, to where what? It'll automatically cause things to come towards you, to where you won't even have to work that hard. It'll be effortless. It will be effortless to you getting that dream, living the dream, living the life. And when you begin to live that life that's been guided by God, guess what? Fear won't be in the way. Doubt won't be in the way. You won't be afraid of this or afraid of that. Why? Because you know God got you. God got you. Matter of fact, God says what? Don't be afraid by the terror by night, or the arrow that flies by day, nor for the pestilence, the sickness and the diseases that what walketh in darkness, or for the destruction that wasteth in what? In noonday. He said, don't be afraid of that. He said 1,000 shall do what? Fall at the side, and 10,000 at the right hand, but it ain't gonna come nigh you. That's what God said. He said that. So you ain't gotta worry about that when God is leading. When he's leading, you're gonna live your best life. Whether you got $50 in your bank account or $1 billion in your bank account. Are you listening to me? That's living the dream. Whether you live in America or in some other country. But I just want to let you know, those people who live on the outskirts in other countries, the reason why they do such an awesome job, come over here to America and get the dream life, is because they're not weighed down and concentrated on what? The issues of the land. Why? Because they don't see it. They're not focused on racism. They're not focused on sexism. They're not focused on, I can't because of this generation didn't do it. They're not focused on that. They just see one goal, and that's the dream. Why? Because they've been thinking about it. They've been speaking dream life. They've been believing dream life. If I could just get to America, then my life's going to be better. They don't go, if I could just get to America, then I can experience racism. No, they ain't doing that. They ain't doing that. They ain't worried about who's going to be president or what. And they say, if I could just get over to America. Kind of sound like what people say, oh, when I make it to heaven, then da-da-da-da. Won't you make it to heaven on earth? God says, wait, in earth as it is in heaven, right? Right? So start living your life like that. And for you Americans, just like I'm an American, you will be living the American dreams. Americans who actually experience the American dream. I live in Florida, and we have taken our children, well, they ain't children no more. They yay about grown, okay? They yay about grown. Yes, they are. We've taken them to Disney World so many times. We took them so many times, had the annual pass holder and all this stuff so many times that our kids, like, we Mickey'd out. And then don't you know, I have met Floridians who live in Florida who have never gone to Disney World. And when I hear that, I say, how long you been living in Florida again now? Oh, my whole life. And you've never gone to see Mickey and Donald and Minnie and them? You know? No, we just ain't never. And I was thinking, wow. Wow, that's weird. It's weird to hear. And I'm quite sure that's what people are saying who come from other countries. So you're an American, you lived here your whole life, and you haven't experienced the American dream yet. You got to get to it. But the only way to get to it, you got to cut off all that unnecessary fat, all that unnecessary negativity that you picked up in your environment of racism, of sexism, of all these other sisms and isms and whatever you've experienced in life. You gotta let that go. You gotta let it go. And don't see nothing but the dream. And really that dream is God's law for your life. Because God said He wished above all things that you should what? Prosper. You should prosper. And He says also what? That He know the thoughts that He thinks of you. Thoughts of peace and not of evil. Not of evil. If you facing a situation and it looks like you've been given racism by this people or that people and whatnot, God says He knows the thoughts He thinks of you and they are of peace and not of evil. So if you have been experiencing that from the outskirts, don't pay attention to that because you know that ain't of God. Say, God, you give me what you promised me. You said you have thoughts of me of peace and not of evil. So give me that. Then He said He's come to give us what? A future and that of hope. That's what He said. That's what He said. He's here to give you a future and a hope. A hope. A future and a hope. So see that. See the dream. But the only way, like I said, you can see that, it gotta start from within. You got to cut away the unnecessary fat. You got to. I understand some fat because it allows you to learn and get some balance. Like if you're cooking a steak, you want some fat in there, marbleization of fat, because they'll keep it a little juicy. But if you got too much fat on that steak, that ain't gonna be right. No. You have to trim that fat. Yes, live a little bit, leave a little bit, so you can have a little balance to keep it together and whatnot. Just like your life, you're gonna have some type of experiences in your life that creates balance for you, because that's God's way to keeping you to learn different things, right? But when you have so much fat negativity in your life, you gotta trim that, because you're gonna drown in that fat. Trust me. Have you ever tried to cook a steak that had too much fat in it? Too much fat on it? You're gonna burn your house down. Yes, you are. Especially if you're grilling, or if you're doing that thing over a gas stove. You're trying to start a fire. So trim that fat and keep what's needed to keep you balanced, and then see the picture. The picture of what? The dream. The dream. Dreams do come true. They do. But you got to start from within. See what God has placed within you. Because I told you before, God sees so much more in you. But I want you to be able to experience the American dream. Those of you who are American, and if you're in your country, whatever country you're in, I want you to experience your country dream. Because truth be told, you really don't have to come to America to experience the dream of your life. You don't. You can get the dream of your life right in your country. You do. You just have to wait. Start from the inner side. The inner side. And that's your core. And that's what God. If you do that, you'll see that you ain't necessarily got to come over here to America. Now, we don't mind you coming. You can come on. I'm just giving you the facts, the truth, that you can stay right in your country and experience the best dream of your life, for your life, and live your best life. But if you want to come on over here, hey, do it. Do it the legal way, though. Do it the legal way. I don't want y'all getting in trouble. Do it the legal way, okay? But come on over. And you Americans, speaking to myself too, if you want to continue, or if you never experienced the American dream, you got to come from within, okay? Pull that dream up out of you, because God has it there. It's already there. Table's already been spread. God said, I will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemy, which means what? Table has been spread. It's there. It's ready. It's waiting on you. But you got to be right in the mental. You do. You have to be right up here. Your mentality, your knowledge, your wisdom. Yes. Yes. You have to ask God to do you like He did Jesse. He said, out of Jesse, a rod came forth, and from his root, branches grew. And then God laid His Spirit on those branches within Jesse. And it was God's Spirit of what? Of wisdom, of understanding, of counsel, of might, of the fear of God. Yes, 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 yes. Indeed. Ask God to do that for you. And watch how you will blossom from the inside out. Therefore, what? You becoming the dream. not something making you to dream, because you already dream. You know that. You know how I know you already the dream? I'm already at 20 minutes. I'm going to tell you how I already know you're the dream. Because you can see what you could have if life was like how you thought it could be. You already see it. You saying, I know I can have better. That's the dream in you saying, hey, listen, you can live a better life. Mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, spiritually, you can. That dream is talking. Every time you see somebody driving a nice car, living in a nice house, being peaceful, in their right mind, you look at them and say, man, that's what I want. That's that dream talking, saying, yeah, you already got it. Pull it out. Pull it out of you. Bring it out of you. Bring it out of you. Here's the thing. If you reach on the outskirts to get it, that ain't gonna last. You gotta have the engine within. Just like a car. What if you had a car that had no engine? And the only way you can go places in that car if somebody was on the outside pushing you in the car. You just see people running behind your car, pushing your car. And as long as you got people pushing you, the car will move, right? But just think, what if you had an engine inside the car? Would you need to have some support on the outside to push you? Of course not. The car gonna start when you, it's gonna start. And you better go where you wanna go. Why? Because the engine inside of you is causing it to move, causing you to get to the destination, causing you to get your dreams. So let the engine, God at core, lead you, because the dream is within. You get it? You can indeed experience the American dreams, America. Y'all get it? Got it good? I hope so. But if you didn't, rewind this thing and watch again. But in the meantime, in between time, if you take just a little bit of what I'm telling you and apply to your life to the best of your ability, you won't ever have the massive smile. Why? Because your smiles will always be genuine. I'll talk to y'all soon. Be blessed, stay blessed, be blessed, stay blessed, be blessed, stay blessed. Y'all know what's coming next. Ciao. Ciao. Ciao, 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 ciao.